All right, good. I'm on. We're on here. We're going live. Let me see. Okay. All right, I think we're here. I think we're in on this, guys. As promised, gonna go over the quiz. Now, a couple things before I begin. Whether you're tuned in now or you're listening to this video a little bit later, doing it a little earlier today because I want to give everyone enough time to make corrections. So, a few people already contacted me today, um, asking a few questions. So I want to go over those questions with everyone because you may have the same question they had. First question was, if I got 100, if I got nothing wrong on the quiz, do I still need to make quiz corrections and do that assignment? No, you do not. If you got everything right on yesterday's quiz, you do not need to do today's quiz corrections. Good morning, Thomas. Glad to see someone else is awake right now. Looks like most people might be watching this later. It's a little bit earlier, but there's a reason why I'm doing this earlier. Number one, to give people enough time to get the corrections done and to get any missing work done. Going to talk about that in a minute. Number two, I'm going live again. That's right, a special bonus live with Mr. Hubney going on live at 4 p.m. this evening. I'm going to have an electrician with me, a special guest electrician who's going to talk about his job, how he uses the stuff we've been learning about in physics, and also a little bit about his journey with school, how he didn't take school that seriously when he was in school and how he regrets that and what he had to do to kind of get himself to become where he could be successful by education. Okay. This whole school thing, this whole education thing, I know being young, you think it doesn't matter, but it is important and it will help you become successful if you take it seriously because it opens doors, it opens opportunities. Having a high school diploma will open opportunities you cannot have unless you had that diploma. Going to college, again, a degree will open opportunities that you would not have unless you had a degree. So he actually had to go to school again later in life. He had to go to night school while he was raising a family and working. He had to juggle all those responsibilities because when he was younger, he didn't take it seriously. So you'll hear more from him. All right, that's at 4 p.m. this evening. You could tune in. If you're not going to be able to make it, leave a question on the post I put on my Google Classroom that you want me to ask him, and I'll go over those questions with him. Or if you're live at 4 p.m., you can ask him those questions yourself. All right, well, we're going to go live then. So back to the matter at hand, the quiz. All right, so speaking to, I got Thomas online now, maybe a few others online. Okay, listen, if you got a quiz grade that you didn't like, okay, and anything like, anything below, I don't know, whatever, like if it's a low score, you have a chance to make up those points. Okay, I put an assignment on today's Google Classroom called quiz corrections, and basically what you do is you're going to do your workout on some paper showing how the problem you got wrong, whichever one you got wrong. Let's say you got number 1, 3, 4, maybe you got 1, 3, number 1, number 3, number 4 wrong, and you need to fix those. So on your paper, you would show me how you should have done number 1, number 3, number 4 to get the correct answer. So I'm going to be going through question by question the quiz today, showing you how to approach each problem. So you could use this video as a guide for you to make those corrections, okay? And then you'll go into the assignment posted today, and you can upload your work. You could upload that picture you took of your work and attach it to that assignment and then submit it to me, or send me to my email, right? shubney, bostonpublicschools.org, a picture of your corrections. Okay, you can send that to me. And that will be proof that you did the corrections, and then I'll give you points back, half the points. So let's say you got a 60%. That would bring your grade up to an 80%. Okay, you get, instead of getting all 40 points back, you get 20, bring you up to an 80%, something like that. So that's how it's going to work, guys. So let's get into it because I know a lot of people are going to be watching this later. Not everyone gets up at 10 a.m. I know a lot of people have been up earlier, so I applaud you for getting up earlier, getting your work done. Remember, today is the day for making up any work you're missing for me on my Google Classroom, okay? Some of you are missing assignments. I sent you emails already today. I went and I sent some text messages to parents, letting them know who's missing assignments. So today's the day. I want it all wrapped up. So by this weekend, I'm going to put in the rest of the grades for this week. If it's missing after today, it's going to go in as a 0. So make sure you make up that work. And if you have somebody you're in contact with that you know hasn't been doing their work, tell them today's the day. So that's why I didn't really post a lot of assignments today. We have the quiz correction assignment and making up any work you're missing. And then next week, we're going to go into some new stuff on electromagnetism. Very excited. And don't forget, at 4 p.m. today, we got an electrician coming on. So make sure you tune in for that. It's going to be pretty cool. And some people did really well in the quiz and got 100. And they're like, do I have to do quiz corrections? Obviously, you do not. There's nothing to correct for you. So you do not have to do that assignment. It will not count against you. You do not have to do that. You will not lose any points for not doing that because it's only for people who did poorly and need to correct their quiz. All right. And so those people that do that, you will see your grade go up on that quiz after I get that assignment. So by tomorrow, you'll see a new grade put in. So let's say you got 5 out of 15, right? So you'll see that go up. You'll see you get those points back. As long as you make the corrections and send them to me. What's up? So let's go through that quiz. I'm going to go through it. So first of all, this is really what it's all about. So we got Ohm's Law right here. Boop. Right? V equals IR. From this, we can determine the voltage if we know the current and resistance. We could determine the current if we know the voltage resistance. We could determine the resistance if we know the current and voltage. And so what I saw from the quiz, what most people had problems with is basically figuring out, how do I know when I'm supposed to multiply or divide? I went over this a bunch of times, guys, but I'm going to keep going over it. Once this sinks in, once this clicks with you, you'll have no more problems, guys, because we do a formula triangle with a lot of different formulas. It's really just a shortcut for the algebra. It's really just a shortcut for the algebra. Like if this is my formula, V equals IR, and I want to find what is the current, right? Right? Let's say I want to find I, current. I have to isolate that variable. So since these are being multiplied together, I want to cancel out R. That means I'll do the opposite, divide. So I divide both sides by R. So we get I equals V over R. So that's what the formula triangle is doing, guys, because I know a lot of people are not too good at algebra yet. So the formula triangle simply is a shortcut. If I want to find I, current, instead of doing this whole canceling, which isn't that hard, but some people are a little unfamiliar with that. So I make the formula V up here, IR down here. I cover up what I'm trying to find. If I'm trying to find I, current, I cover it up. It's V over R, which is what you see here, V over R. So that's really what the formula triangle is all about. It's a shortcut, okay? And then you got to figure out, okay, so V over R, they give me some numbers. Which one is V? Which one is R? So we're going to go over that in the quiz. So let me open up the quiz real quick and go over some of these. So those of you who need to make up the problems can actually use this for your notes. So let's look at the first one. A resistance of 30, and it has that little horseshoe thing, right? So problem 1 says there's a resistance, so that's R, resistance of 30, and it has that little horseshoe thing. That means ohms. R for resistance. Ohms is the unit, what it's measured in, just like you measure your height in feet, okay, or your weight in pounds. It's just something we use to measure things in. It's just a unit of measurement. So that's they give us R, the resistance, and a 90-volt battery. So you're like, well, 90 volts. And I could write volts, or I could write V for shorthand. So you're like, well, what's 90 volts? Well, it's voltage, V. Okay, so I know these things. And then it's asking me what current flows through the circuit. Okay, let me see. You can see that. There you go. What current? All right. Yes, that's right, sir. That's right. Silver Gaming. So that's right. So you don't have to do the whole quiz over. Let me just say that. You don't have to do the whole quiz over. Let's see, you got questions 1 through 4 correct, but you got like the last 3 wrong, like 5, 6, 7 wrong. I think there were 7 questions. We're about to see in a minute. So yeah, you don't have to do the whole quiz over. You only do the ones you got incorrect over. Okay, so if you got questions 5 and 6 incorrect for today's assignment, you would show me how you should have done questions 5 and 6. All right, so you're going to show how you should have done question 5, how you should have done question 6. You're going to show the work, write it out on some paper, or in your notebook. Those of you who have your notebook at home. Some people don't. Some people, it's still in school, lockdown. But anyways, and then take a picture and either attach it to the assignment or email it to me. But make sure you submit the assignment. You're doing it now. Good. So you're following along with me now, which is good. And those of you who are tuning in later, this will be posted later. You can follow along later and get this done. That's why I'm doing this earlier, so you'll have enough time. Because some people need to make corrections, and some people are missing assignments. So you need to get those done today. They don't take too long, though, guys. The assignments don't take too long. So you should be able to finish up everything so you don't get any zeros in that grade book. So I sent emails out to people. Check your grade book. All right, so it's asking for current. Okay, so what letters for current? Those of you who are online right now, who can tell me what letter is for current, out of curiosity? Let me see if anyone's paying attention out there. There's not too many people online right now. So VIR, broke it down here, VIR. All right, now the good thing is you don't have to memorize the letters, because on your formula sheet, it has the letters and what they mean. But it's also written here. And there's also a note page. I put a study guide, a reference sheet I put with the quiz. So if you look back on yesterday's assignment, you had the sheet with the letters on it and what they mean. But it's right here too. A, yes, the letter I, what's it mean? So I is for current, right? Current. And that's what this question's asking for, right? If we look at the first question, what current flows through the circuit? What current flows through the circuit? So they're asking for I. They want to know, right? They want to know, what is I? I stands for current. So trying to get this all in here. There we go. Move this back a little bit. So we're finding I. So does that mean we multiply? Does that division? What type of mathematical process do we need to do? So when I cover up the letter I, all right, this formula triangle, very helpful. I saw a lot of people on your Ohm's Law work from Wednesday. A lot of people had the formula triangle. That's good. Cover up I. Look at that. We have V on top, R on the bottom. So we have I equals V on top over R. V over R. That's a division. It's like a fraction. This over that. That means this gets divided by that. The numerator gets divided by the denominator. Hopefully I said that right. It's been a while, but yeah. So basically, I just put in the numbers. Yes, Jose, you got it. That's right. You got it. Good. Now, the second problem. So I have some people following along online right now, and they're telling me you divide. That's good. If you knew that, that's the first step. However, what I've noticed when I was looking at the quiz, for those people who got some of these wrong, you may have known to divide, but you put the numbers in the wrong spot, which will change your answer. Here's the thing. The V, which is the volts, has to go on top. So some people just put, 30. Don't copy this. This would be wrong, but they put 30 ohms 90 volts. That would give you the wrong answer because look, V, the volts has to be up here. That's no good. That's no good. So this is a common mistake I saw a few people make, so keep this in mind. The volts has to go up here. The resistance has to go down here. 30 ohms, 90 volts. So you got to put the numbers. That's correct. So if you got that wrong, right? I just got another comment here. Yeah. So that's a great thing to think about. How do I know where to put what number? You got to follow the formula. You can't just put numbers anywhere because the answer changes. If I divided 30 by 90, that's going to give me a decimal, a very different answer, right? 0.03, whatever. It's going to be a very different answer, 0.3. This gives me 3. If I divide 90 by 30, all right, 90 over 30, you should get 3. And I put A for amps. Why did I put A for amps? Because current is measured in amps or the letter A, okay? Units are important. Units are important. If I tell you, hey, guys, thanks for tuning in this morning early, I'm going to give you, as a special reward, those of you who are live streaming right now, I'm going to give you 5. And you may be thinking, oh, 5 extra points? That's great. But in my mind, I was like, I'm going to give you 5. I'm going to give you a high five right now. Boom, high five, right? So 5 what? That makes a difference. $5, 5 cents, right? That makes a big difference. So units are important. So that's why we always include a unit. We always include a unit with our answer. But yeah, you got to put the numbers where they go. I can't just throw numbers in there. Even if I figured out I needed to divide, that's not good enough. Now I need to figure out where do I put the numbers. So it's based off the formula. If V's on top, R's on the bottom, I put the number that is my V, my voltage, I put that number on the top because that's where it goes. That's what the formula says. And I put the R, the number for resistance, the 30 ohms, has to go on the bottom. So now you divide it just like that. You do this number, divide by this number. So if you're using a calculator, this number goes first, divide by that number, you'll get your answer. All right. So we had a few questions. We went over those questions. Any more questions? So this was like number 1, right? This was the first problem. Okay, so those of you who got it wrong, boom, look at that. Now you know how to do number 1. For some of the other ones, I'm not going to go through the whole thing because I just went through one of them, and they're all done very similar. Okay, it's a similar process. Find out using the formula triangle. Find out if I multiply or divide, and then which number goes where, and do the math. So we're going to go through some more, but it's going to be a little quicker now because we're not going to go through it as you're making it look harder than it looks. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Sometimes we make things harder than what it is. So now, see, I could already see it's starting to click for some of you. You're like, oh, this is not that bad, right? It's not that bad. So let's look at another question. Let's look at another one. Okay. So let's look at the next one. All right. So I'm going to erase this, but you could always rewatch the video later and then pause the video if you need to see this first one more. Okay. But I'm going to erase it because I'm going to move on to the next one. And you could always rewatch this and see that, pause it if you need to. I'm going to post this so you'll have plenty of time to go through it. That's why I'm doing it earlier, to give you plenty of time. So motor with a resistance of 32 ohms. Okay? Resistance of 32 ohms. Resistance R, 32 ohms. Now I could write ohms or I could use the symbol of that horseshoe. It's technically the Greek omega symbol, but kind of looks like a horseshoe. So a lot of times students call it a horseshoe. A motor with a resistance of 32 ohms is connected to a voltage source. Okay, sorry, period. All right. 4 amps of current flows through the circuit, period. Okay, so 4 amps of current. Again, we use I for current. 4 amps. I could write amps or A. This is what I have. What is the voltage? I'll write that down here. Leave some space. What is the voltage? Voltage is V. This is our big question mark, right? So what is the voltage? Now, for this one, guys, let's think about this. Voltage, okay? So I know resistance. I know current. Remember, they have to give you everything you need, typically, for these basic problems. They're going to give you everything you need. Yes! You got it, Jose. You got it. So I got a few people. Guys, feel free to chime in. I have a few people participating online. Yes, you multiply is correct. Now, how did Jose figure that out? How do you figure that out? Well, formula, triangle, original formula, before we put in a triangle. Notice the original formula is already set up for voltage. V equals I R. I put a little times there, but see, when two things are next to each other, two letters in algebra, like X, Y, with no, if they don't have any like plus or minus between them, just two things next to each other. In algebra, that's multiplication. It's like you could put X times Y or X times Y or X. Many ways to write multiplication in algebra, right? But yeah, two things next to each other is multiplication. So the formula is already set up for voltage. V equals I R or V equals I R. That means multiplication. When they're next to each other, that's multiplication, okay? I R. So a couple people get confused by that. When the letters are next to each other with no plus or minus between them, this means multiply those things. If we have one thing on top, one thing on the bottom, like our last problem, finding current, V over R, when one thing's on top and one thing's on the bottom, this means divide. Divide this by this. But when they're next to each other, that means multiply. Multiply this by this, and you'll get your answer, okay? Yes. So to use the formula triangle, we got another question here. To use the formula triangle, whatever you are trying to find, that's what you cover up. So if I'm trying to find V, voltage, I cover up V, and I have I times R, which is the original formula. This is the formula given to you on your formula sheet. They don't give you this. You can make the formula triangle out of the formula, V, I times R, okay? All right, so V, I, R. So now it's a matter of putting in the number for I, which is 4. Okay, so we have 4 amps. I like to do parentheses, but you could put the number in a time symbol or whatever. I like to use parentheses kind of as a placeholder. This was R. Now we're substituting the letter for R. The letter for R was 32 ohms. V equals 4 times 32, right? 4 amps times 32 ohms, our voltage. So 4 times 32, that should be volts, right? 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. Okay. So any more questions on that or whatever? So that is finding voltage, okay? So if a question is asking for voltage, voltage is multiplying. When they're next to each other, multiply. I times R. When one thing's over the other, division, okay? So if there's no further questions on that, and again, I put my unit, V for volts, or I could have wrote volts. If there's no question on that, we're going to go on to the next one, the third problem, okay? So taking notes, rewatch it later, make the correction, send it to me. Let's look at the next one. So we did that. Let's go to the third one. A transistor radio. Okay. So I'm going to erase this again. You could rewatch this later if you need it. Okay. You can rewatch this later if you need it. A transistor radio uses 2 amps of current. What did they just give us? Read it carefully. 2 amps. What is that? Of current. They actually tell us what it is. Sometimes they won't. Sometimes you got to be like, oh, amps is for current. This time they told us. So that's easy. So I for current equals 2 amps. It's run by a 9-volt battery. What did they just give us? 9 volts. 9 volts. Volts. Oh, they gave us voltage. So I'm going to write V equals 9 volts. Okay. What is the resistance? R is what they're looking for. What is the resistance? So a radio uses 2 amps of current run by a 9-volt battery. 9-volt battery. So I have someone saying, hey, I just realized you got to divide. That's right. So how do we know to find R's division? Let's go back to the formula triangle. We're trying to find R. We want to know, what is the resistance? Well, what's the formula? Is it multiply? Is it divide? Jose figured out divide. So let's go ahead, cover up the letter R. Remember, like we talked about, someone had a question about this. Yes, you cover up what you're trying to find. We're trying to find resistance, the letter R. So I'm going to my formula triangle. And guys, you should draw the triangle on your paper. You should be covering it up with your finger or your hand. So R is what I'm trying to find. V on top over I. They're not next to each other. They're not right next to each other. One thing is on top, one letter's on the bottom. It's V over I. I'm going to write that. V over I. Okay? V is my volts over I. So as Jose said, we are going to divide. Now, here's the next step where people get things wrong. What number goes where? I can't just put 2 up on top. Where should the 2 go? It's my I. It's my current. Where does that go? It's got to go on the bottom, or it's going to be the wrong answer. 2 on the bottom, because that's my current, I. V goes on top. That's 9 volts on top. It should look like that when you have it properly set up. Now, the last step, right? To get my answer, what do? I divide. So in your calculator, if you're using calculator, right? You got to put that first, divide by that. 9 volts divided by 2 amps. 9 volts divided by 2 amps. I'm not going to give you the answer for this one. I'm going to let you figure it out. So if you got number 3 incorrect, you need to do this last step. We did all these steps together. You should have all this on your paper if you're correct in the third problem, if you got the third one wrong. You have all this down. We guided you through all that. Now, what should you get for your answer? I want you to write that down on your paper. What should you have gotten for your answer? 9 volts over 2 amps. 9, this means 9 divided by 2. We measure resistance in ohms, or you can write ohms. What's your answer going to be? What's it going to be? You got to figure that out and submit it to me for your test correction to get the points back, okay? 9 over 2 means 9 divided by 2, okay? That's how you should got the answer. Thomas, I see you got it already. You're right, buddy. I'm not going to reveal the top secret. People who tune in later, they're going to have to figure this out. But Thomas, you got it. So that should have been the answer, Thomas. So now you know if you got number 3 incorrect, or maybe you had it correct. I don't know. I didn't look at your quiz. I saw it yesterday, but I don't remember. But I do know you have some corrections to make up. I remember that, Thomas. So it's good to see actually a few people here tuned in already that do have corrections to make. So I'm glad to see that. So that's the third one. Again, you can pause this video later, go over that, get that down, but you got to put the answer. Okay, we're going to move on to the fourth one here. Let's go to next one. Okay. So again, you could pause and replay this later. All right. All right. A resistance of 60 ohms. Okay. Allows 0.4 amps of current. Current, letter I. So I'm going a little quicker now because at this point, we've explained a lot of how to do this. Again, it's the same process over and over. It's the same process. Write down what they give you, you're given. Write down the unknown. Remember our guess steps, GUESS. That's what we're doing right now. I just didn't write it out as, the columns, given, unknown, but I could have, but I just didn't. Just, I don't know, I guess I had limited space or whatever, but you could be using the columns of guess. Maybe I should have done it that way, but, well, this would be like our given, right? The given, right? So we could do it in our guess steps, right? But that's what we're doing. We're following the process. So we're given this when it's connected across a battery. So we have 60 ohms, a resistance of 60 ohms, 0.4 amps of current when it's connected across a battery, right? Because if there wasn't a battery, there would be no current because the battery provides the voltage, which is what's pushing the current through, which, by the way, is what they're asking, right? The question says, what is the voltage? So that's our unknown, right? Our unknown, unknown, we put here, voltage. What is it? Good question. All right, so we need the equation. What's the equation for voltage? What's the equation for voltage? So, yes, Jose, go do your corrections. You got it now. But you could also tune into the video later if you need help, right? So, voltage. What is it? What is it? Well, how do we do it? What's the equation? Multiply, divide. So, voltage equals I times R. It's right there. We don't even need to set up a triangle because the formula is already set up for voltage. V equals IR. So the equation is that. Or I could have used a formula triangle if I still wanted to. V, cover up V for voltage, IR. Next to each other, multiplying. Next to each other, multiplying. So I times R. So what do you do next? You substitute in the numbers. And since they're next to each other, what? I'm going to do the Door Explorer thing. What do we do? And everyone yells, multiply, right? I don't know. It works for door. I don't know if it works for this, but so we're going to multiply, right? So there you go. So I'm going to stop with that one because we went through one of these already with problem, I think 2 or something like that. So they're all done similarly. So I'm going to give you a little less and less as we go on, let you do more and more of the corrections yourself. But yes, V equals IR. They're next to each other. We multiply. We're given our I, 0.4 amps of current. We're given our R, 60 ohms of resistance. Boom. Plug them in and multiply. You are good. Okay, get your answer. Show me the answer on your corrections. Right? Right. So, boom, we did that one. Moving on. What current flows through a 50 ohm fixed resistor when it operates on a 120 volt outlet? Let's go ahead. All right, so what current flows through a 50 ohm fixed resistor? 50 ohm. What is 50 ohm? Oh, 15, sorry. It says 15, sorry. 15 ohm. What is ohms? And it says resistor. That's another clue that this is resistance, right? 15 ohms resistor. And it operates on a 120 volt outlet. 120 volts. What's volt? Volt is volt. My voltage, V. Well, I wonder what they're going to ask for. They're giving me R. They're giving me V. I wonder what they're going to need. Aha. Current, right? That's what it says. What current? Remember, they got to give you 2 things, and you find the missing thing. So what is my current? A great question. Well, guys, how do you think you solve for current? What do you think you do? Multiply, divide? What are you going to have to do to find current? What are we going to do here? Well, go back here to your formula triangle, cover up what you're trying to find, and what do you have to do? See that? V over R, V over R. V on top, R in the bottom. Multiply, divide, what's that mean? Right? One thing on top over one thing on the bottom. What's that mean? We're going to do Explorer. What's that mean? That's right. Division. Good, good. Good. Little Dora the Explorer action here. I think I have to watch that movie again today later. It's a good movie, by the way. The new Dora movie, don't discount it. The new Dora movie is a good movie. It is. Got like 90% Rotten Tomatoes. It's a good movie. Check it out. After you do your physics work. Some of you owe me work. Some of you owe me work. You got my emails. Yeah, I tattletaled, told your parents, you all owe me work. Get it done. And do your quiz correction. So we're finding I. Cover up I. V over R. Division. What number goes first? What number goes on top? What's the V? What's the R? Okay. Giving you less and less now, guys, because come on, same thing we've done before. We've done one like this before. You guys got this, okay? So if you got that one wrong, show me the rest of the work. Show me the rest of the work. Moving on. Okay. Now this one's a cool one. Circuit diagram. Like this. I like this. I like pictures. I'm a big picture fan. Use the circuit diagram to solve for the unknown. So we got a circuit drawn. We got this zigzag line, which means what? Even has R above it, and it even has the ohms. So if you didn't remember, this is a resistor circuit symbol. Well, we got these other hints right here. This is resistance. And then they got the voltage here. So we got some batteries hooked up. All right. But they don't tell us the voltage. We got to figure that out. And they tell us the current flowing through the circuit's 5 amps. 5, that's an A. That's an A. That's an A. So what is the voltage? V. V, how do we find that? Formula's already set up for V, guys. Voltage, I times R. I times R. V, I, R. Next to each other. Not one on top, one on the bottom. No, next to each other. Multiplication. I times R. So it's like the other questions, except we get the information from here. Look, we have the I. The current. It's 5 amps. We have the resistance, 200 ohms. So what do? V equals IR, right? We have to multiply the 5 amps, the 200 ohms, put it in and multiply. I want you to show the work, guys. Show the work. Show how you put the numbers in your formula, right? Show your numbers and your final answer with units, okay, to get the points back. That's it, guys. That's it. Just see? So easy. It's becoming easier and easier, right? It's becoming easier and easier. So next one. All right, we got a little different circuit here. Couldn't find my eraser today. I'm using this napkin. It's not the best, but here we go. All right, we got a battery. Looks like maybe like 3 batteries or something. But anyways, I don't know. So we got a battery or batteries, 12 volts. 12 volts, okay. And then a resistor over here. Yeah. Whoops, don't leave an opening in your circuit. Remember, open circuit, not good. Wouldn't work, right? Can't have an open circuit unless you don't want it to work. You know, I have a switch. Here's our resistor one resistor one, R1. Could be more than one resistor. This is an easy problem, only one. 600 ohms, 12 volts. Trying to find I. What's I? I is current. I is current. How do we find current? Use my formula triangle. V over R. Voltage over resistance. Voltage over resistance. What does that mean? I need to take the voltage, divide it by the resistance. Numbers are right here, guys. The voltage the resistance right there. Put them in the right spot. What number is going to go on top? The voltage, right? Don't put 600 first in your calculator. Don't put 600 first in your equation, right? No, don't do that. Don't do that. It's V over R. So know that. I got to put V first. I got to put the voltage on top. See, a lot of people automatically will put the bigger number on top. They'll be like, oh, it has to be 600 divided by 12 because 600 is a bigger number. I always put a bigger number and divide it by a small number. Not true in physics, not true in life. Sometimes you divide a small number by a big number and you get a very tiny answer, and that's okay. So V over R, where do I put what goes first? Which number? Well, V, the voltage has to go on top. R, the resistance has to go on bottom. So you'll get a tiny answer, right? 12 divided by 600. That's going to be a tiny answer. So do that. Show your corrections on your paper. Show the rest of this work. Plug in the numbers. Show your answer. Put the unit for current, amps, and you'll be good with that one, okay? You'll be good with that one. I like the last question, guys. Last question. What's the name of the scientist that came up with Ohm's Law? I don't think anyone got that one wrong, so I'm not even going to go over it. But it was a pretty funny question. I put my name in there. I invented a time machine, traveled back. Yo, what's up? We got special guests right here. Oh, they left. Never mind. So, did I invent a time machine? Obviously, I did not. What are you doing? Are you going to come over here or what? Yeah. So we got a special guest right here. Hold on. Besides my son, where are you at? Hey, what up, what up, what up? But another special guest who's been chilling with me down here, Oreo. Hey. Hi, Oreo. Say hello to everybody. Oreo. That is disrespectful, Oreo. Hey. She's ignoring me. You gonna ignore me? Oreo, come here. Say hello. Say hello. Say hello. Say your puppy. No? Okay. She's not impressed. She's not impressed, guys. She is not impressed. Anyways. There's Scotty. What up, Scotty?
Nothing.
Okay, cool. So, guys, yeah, the last question. I don't think anyone got that wrong, right? Ohm's Law. There's an obvious reason why it's called Ohm's Law. It has nothing to do with Einstein or me. So, but I don't think anyone got that last question wrong. That was just a fun question I put on there. But yeah, so you have all you need, all the notes. I didn't do all of them out because I want you guys to use what you were just taught to finish them. But you should be good to go. You should be good to go. So, your mission today, again, if you've got a perfect score on the quiz, then you are good. All you got to do for me, if you're missing work, go check on Google Classroom. If you're missing work, get those missing assignments done today. It should not take you that long. Get it done today so you don't get any zeros, okay? And if you need to make quiz corrections, boom, that's what this video is all about. We went over it. Make those corrections. Get it done. If you get stuck, which I think at this point, I think at this point you shouldn't. You shouldn't. But if for some reason you get stuck or confused, send me, a message on Google Classroom or a text or email, and I'll get back to you. Okay, so I'll make sure you get back to you and get this done today. And you should be good to go. And now a special announcement one more time. 4 p.m., guys, I'm back. I'm back on 4 p.m. Me and a special guest. I got an electrician who's going to be talking about how he uses some physics in his everyday work, okay? So people use this stuff. I know you guys say, why do we learn physics? What's it good for? And you think only scientists that build rockets to go to like Jupiter use physics. Not true. People use physics in everyday life, and they don't have to be scientists. For example, an electrician uses this Ohm's Law equation quite a bit. So he'll talk to you more about that. All right, cool. Sent me an email. Thank you. I'll check that out. Yeah, I'll check that out and see what's up. Da, 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 da. Oh, so you talked to him? Who's that? Who sent me that? Guys. Yeah, all right, guys. Yeah, so you sent the email. That's fine. I had someone just send me some stuff too. That's fine. A couple people sent me some stuff already, so you guys are pretty good. So I got some texts, I got some emails. People already sending it in. That's good, guys. So I'm gonna check out what people sent me. A couple people sent me some stuff. Although Thomas, I didn't see your email yet. Hold on here. Oh, there it is. Got it. Got it, Thomas. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yep. Okay, so those are the one. All right, great. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, looks good, Thomas. Looks good. Looks good. So I'll be adjusting quiz scores now, and as they come in. So, guys, if you send it in and you don't see your score adjusted right away, that's okay. It will be adjusted by tomorrow, no doubt. And any work you're missing, get it done. And at 4 p.m., tune in again. Tune in again at 4 p.m. for the electrician. And if you can't be there at 4 p.m., which I don't know where else you would be, we're kind of on lockdown, can't really go anywhere. I mean, we can still kind of go places, but it's getting kind of serious where, there are more and more things are closing. More and more things are closing. Basically, everything's closed pretty much except like, stores. But I think more and more stores are going to be required to close, except maybe like grocery stores and pharmacies and things like that. But everything else may eventually be like asked to shut down. So you don't really have much places to go. So tune in 4 p.m. Hear from the electrician. Ask some questions. If you can't be there, post some questions on the Google Classroom under the announcement I put today about that. Yeah, and should be good. All right. Okay, guys. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in today. Thanks for participating. Thank you for all those questions and participation, those of you guys who are in here. I'm going to post this video. So if anyone needs to look at it again, it's going to be posted. And yeah, I'll see you guys 4 p.m. Stay safe, stay healthy, and get some work done that is due. Okay, if you don't got it done. All right, guys, good work. That's it. So any last minute questions before I come off in the next minute? Let me know. Checking out some messages people send to me and stuff like that. Someone had a question about how to attach things. So you go on Google Classroom, you click on the assignment, and you'll see a button that says attach. And you just attach it. You click the attach button, and it'll ask you what file, and you just attach it. That's it. All right. So it's not that hard. But again, if you're having trouble, send me the email. Send it to my email. All right. And I'll open up my email and see it. And yeah, just make sure you submit the assignment, because otherwise it's weird. Otherwise it looks like you didn't do the work, even though you did it. And I sort of have to remember you did it. And then, because it'll say like it's missing. So there's a button where you click, if they're submitting the assignment. Anyways, the fun times of online learning, right? Figuring all this stuff out. So that's it, guys. So peace out. Have fun. Be safe. I'll see you guys at 4 p.m. maybe, if you can make it. Yeah. All right, cool, man. That's it. I'm out. Peace.